Hey, today I'm going to make a dish I really like, and that's rice with mushrooms. I'm going to use two types of rice, white rice and wild rice, and a box full of mushrooms. Well, here are the ingredients again. I have a container of mushrooms, just a regular grocery store container, some rice from the Dollar Tree actually, and this is wild rice. Wild rice isn't actually a rice, it's more of a grain, and I really like wild rice, but I find it a little intense by itself. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull my rice cooker out, and I'm going to make a cup of white rice first, and then a half a cup of wild rice afterwards. The reason I'm doing them separately is because they require different amounts of water and different cooking times. So let's get started. All right, so here's my rice. The wild rice, the half a cup of wild rice and the full cup of white rice. I'm going to take this paddle here and just kind of mix those up. So it's the wild rice and the white rice is all mixed up. I made an error earlier. I told you that wild rice was a grain. Actually, it's not a grain, it's a grass. It's not a rice and it's not a grain, it's a grass. And it is really good, but as I mentioned, I find the taste a little intense, so I like to mix it up with white rice. So here it is, mixed up. And now I'm going to get started on the mushrooms. I bought a standard 8-ounce container of mushrooms. I prefer to buy my mushrooms not pre-sliced. They seem to last longer that way because there's less surface area to go bad. I'm going to wash these off and then start cutting them. I've started warming up my frying pan. I have a cast iron pan, so it takes a while for it to warm up. And in the meanwhile, I've cut the mushroom in half and then slice through, so I have these like little half pieces. Seems to be a good size to mix up with the rice. So I'm going to do that and throw them in the bowl and toss them in the frying pan once it's warmed up. Yeah, it looks like it's steaming away and feels pretty hot, so I'm going to add some olive oil to this, quite a bit of olive oil, and I'm going to throw my mushrooms in. There they go. And I'm just going to cook them until they're cooked down. The mushrooms are well cooked down, so I've added more olive oil, and I'm going to put the rice in. A little bit more at a time. I waited until the rice was cooled before I started the mushrooms, because cooled rice does not stick to the pan like hot rice does. So I'm just going to keep adding that in and mixing it up until all of the rice is mixed up with the mushrooms. Here it is, all finished up. I just kept stirring it until all the mushrooms and the olive oil were mixed up with the rice and they all took on each other's flavoring. Mushroom rice is one of my favorite comfort foods, and since Eddie doesn't like mushrooms, I don't have to share it. You could do things to kind of gussy this up. You can add chicken stock or vegetable stock to the rice to cook it in if you want. You can add garlic or onions to the mushrooms when you're sauteing them, or any herbs you want. It's a pretty flexible dish for additions. I just like to add some salt. I love the taste of the rice. I love the taste of the mushrooms, and I like it just with a little bit of salt. But make it your own. All right. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, and being healthy. Thank you so much for watching.